Hey, so just wanted to give kind of just a little piece of encouragement to those who are out in what I call tent maker jobs. Those jobs that are not necessarily in the church building every day. I know we do stuff there as well. But my question is, in my job, how do I live in the world but not of it? And a lot of times I think of my students, and they are so cool, and I love them so much. There are just these moments, though, where I'm thinking, where have you learned this? What have you heard? Why are you cussing at me? What is going on? And a lot of people think it's so funny because I think I'm so sweet and I get to be in this environment, but I love it. I mean, I wouldn't change it for the world. And so I'm hearing all of this and I'm thinking, God, you're going to really have to show me how to not let this in, because once you hear something so much, it just starts to get in your mind. So I just really felt God, one, saying not to worry about it because He's with me and He's of course with us, and He's called me to this place. So I'm thinking, okay, God, how do I not be changed by the influences and the circumstances around me, but instead become an agent of change for those who are in my environment? And so I'd asked this question, and I'm going to just go eat some breakfast and just sit down and watch some TV. And it's very cool. Like, God responded so quickly on this one. It blows my mind how He can move. He can take a long time or He can be really quick. He's awesome either way. But I was watching this show, and this speaker came on, and he had this plate of apples and eggs. And what he said is he brought out this pot of boiling water, and he said, what happens when you put this egg into the boiling water? And we're thinking, okay, it's a hard-boiled egg. It changed the egg. What happens when you put an apple into boiling water? And I'm thinking, one, why would I put an apple in boiling water? But I get past that and think, okay, it'll turn it mushy. And then the third thing was, what happens when you put a tea bag into boiling water? And that clicked with me. Tea bag does not itself physically change. It's wet, but it's still the same tea bag. Instead, it affects all of the water around it. And that just blew my mind. That's something that I'm going to carry to work and everywhere I go. That's what I wanted to share, was God calls us to be those bags of tea in boiling water. He calls us into tough places. He calls us into what I call hot spots and dark places. And we are the influence and the change that affects our environment. And because He is with us and His Spirit equips us to do the work He's called us to do, we do not have to be changed by our environment. And the verse that goes with that really encouraged me was, do not be transformed. Well, sorry, let me back that up. Do not be conformed by the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And it goes on to say more after that. But it was just so encouraging that, you know what, God's Word is with us. And He gives us His Word to equip us to do the work that He's called us to do. So in all of this, just to say, go out where God calls you to be, even if it's a rough environment, even if it's in one of the darkest places in the world, because God has equipped you to be there, and His Word will just be that lamp into your feet, and He will guard you and take care of you. And you will be an influence of change to bring hope and love and light in a place where there may have been none of that beforehand. It could be the only glimpse of love that anyone could ever see. So be bold, know that God is with you, and just encourage you to keep up what you're doing. And I know it's hard sometimes. I feel the same thing, but His Word guides us. He is with us, and His Spirit lives with us. So good job. Love to see what God's doing and continue in the good work that God has called you in.